Is this fine, yeah?
Oh, yeah, that's good. See here?
Rob, this might sound silly, but 3 games ago, how were you feeling compared to where you're feeling now ahead of a World Cup?
I mean, it's obviously it's easy to get caught in the emotion, I guess, on either side. When you're losing, no one likes losing, everyone likes winning. I suppose for me as coach, it's just important, to stay level, just understand where we're at as a team, what we're working on, what we're working towards. There were moments in the first game that, to be fair, we should have won. And in the second game, we probably, 2 guys converted those 40s. We come closer to winning that one as well. So, losing's not everything. It doesn't tell the full story. So it's about being able to pick apart the good stuff and understand the areas that we didn't quite nail. And we just paid some specific attention to that.
Is that when you, within the group, need to stay focused and believe in your processes, and this is where we're actually heading?
Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest cliches in sport, isn't it? Is sticking to the process, but it's a cliche just because it's true. You have to trust the work you're doing. You got to trust the way that you want to play together as a team, and then trust the way that you want to go about trying to win games of cricket. So, I think for me the best part was we won cricket in different ways in this series. We won the game in Potch with spin. We won the game in SuperSport Park with pace, and probably put it all together today. So, so there were some really good signs right from the word go, to be fair. And we should have capitalised on probably one win, at least more in this series.
Ken?
Congratulations, Rob. I think at the start of the series I asked you about the number 7 position and the importance and heading into the World Cup. That must be a box that you feel is very firmly ticked at the moment.
I think for me, Marco has got such huge potential, and we probably saw him realise a little bit of it today in that he contributed on both ends with a bat and with a ball. But there's so much more in the tank with him, to be fair. So for me, it'll be enjoying the fact that he put both bat and ball performances together, but understanding that he's not even close to his ceiling yet, and that's what I'll be pushing him towards achieving.
Winning the series aside, the targets coming in to these 5 matches against Australia, how far did you go in achieving them, and what were they?
Yeah, I think you're always balancing between winning the game that's in front of you and then prepping for a World Cup that's a couple of weeks away. So the main thing that we wanted to do was to make sure that our batting unit got time in the middle and got runs under the belt. And then from a bowling point of view, is we wanted to make sure that we, again, exposed everyone in our bowling unit. And that happened almost by default, really. It didn't work out exactly how we had planned it. Obviously, we had a couple of injuries along the way. But still, the key members of the team got time in the middle, got to compete, play competitive cricket. There's nothing like strong competitive cricket out in the middle. We had good camps in the winter. We trained really hard, but nothing mimics the pressure and the competition against good quality sides. So from that point of view, I'm happy. I thought, whilst we did drop a few catches, we didn't drop any regulation catches. The ones that we put down were tough catches, with tough chances, and then we took some good ones along the way as well. So all departments, we certainly made progress and we improved. I'll never be so bullish as to say that we're there, because we're never there, but we're closer to playing good cricket than we were when we started.
Rob? I think you're playing Australia. Australia was in your second game at the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, in 3 weeks' time. How great is it that the game is so close, the World Cup game, I mean, after having winning 300 shots against them? With pretty much the same squad that will be in India.
I think we've got to be very careful when it comes to Australia and reading too much into this series in terms of what it means for the World Cup. The conditions might be very different. I think the best part of that is that, as I said, we've won with spin and we've won with seam. So we feel like we will be able to tackle whatever conditions we get, but their team will change. Their bowling lineup will change significantly, all things being equal. You'll see Hazelwood, Stark, and Cummins coming at you with a couple of changes in the batting lineup. And one thing we do know about Australia is they understand how to perform in World Cups. So whilst we'll take the momentum for ourselves as a team into the World Cup, we won't look too far ahead to that game, other than to say that our track record recently against Australia has been pretty strong, and we're going to need to keep that up in the World Cup.
Myron?
Rob, can you chat a little bit about Kesh? Obviously, a couple of months ago, the situation was very different, but it must have been great to see him out there, and that outpouring of emotion, like really showed what it meant.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, and probably said it along the way. Firstly, to Kesh's efforts, his professionalism, and just his sheer desire. If you want to know what desire can do, just watch Kesh. Like people wrote him off from a medical science point of view. He was doing something that is uncharted, but he told me right at the beginning he'd be back. So. And I didn't for 1 second not believe him. So he worked as hard as he possibly could. The medical team were outstanding throughout, and so it's a feel-good story really. And look, we haven't got to the World Cup yet, but he's bowled unbelievably well in this series, and today was just another example of the quality bowler that he is.
Rob, the 3 T20s in Durban was pretty much sold out. There were fantastic crowds across this 5 ODIs. Great little scene outside with Proteas fans dancing to the brass bands, and you guys would have seen that. Can you chat to us about the role that the supporters have played, despite having gone through quite a lot over the last couple of years, and what message is spread within the Proteas dressing room about playing for this country, which we know has a number of socioeconomic challenges?
Well, I mean, the role of the team is to provide inspiration and hope, and unify. It's that simple. But the way to doing that is playing a brand of cricket that people can get excited about. And secondly, obviously, everyone likes to win. So while playing the brand of cricket that we want to play, that we want to excite people who watch the game and watch the Proteas play. We also understand that we're a vehicle for inspiration for the country, and I think when the team are at their best, they provide a little mirror into what the country can look like, where race is not an issue. There's no political divides. There's just 11 guys on the park and everyone in the support around them that only focused on one thing, and that's a collective mission together to get the job done and play good cricket. So. If that's anything to go by, and I've said it a lot since I've come back, is it's awesome to see how the crowds have changed, the demographics of the crowd has changed, the people enjoying the game has changed, and hopefully the cricket we've played is a catalyst to that and will continue to be. So I think everyone's aware of the responsibility of the team, but we understand that the only way to create that change is to play our best cricket, because that's what people want to watch.
Stu?
Sort of twofold question this regarding fitness. One is on Sisanda. How long do you give him until you're satisfied that he's fit enough? I mean, would he go into those warm-up games, for instance? And the other one is Eindrigen and where he is at the moment.
Yeah, look, we're continually sort of taking stock as to where both of those players are. I mean, the mere fact that they weren't playing today, with just a week to go before we board on the plane, I mean, obviously it's obviously a cause for concern, because we would have wanted them to be out there, and competing. So we'll give each player as long as we possibly can. Look, to be honest, there are a few complications around taking players that are injured into a World Cup, because once the support period begins, then you have to provide a medical reason for them to be ruled out and to be swapped out. So, so we have to make sure that before that happens, that we are confident that they're going to be able to play. And so.
So is that now before you get on the plane, or?
Yeah, in an ideal world, yeah. Because we don't have 28th as, it's 3 days after we land that we have to make that decision. So we certainly don't want to be waiting too long to make that decision.
Thanks. We're going to go to here, then 2 online with Fidos and Telford as we look to wrap up.
Rob, just to follow up on that, you obviously had Andile Peklekwayo on standby. He's played a couple of games. How's he gone for you? And if somebody does get injured, has he kind of laid you concerns that he could possibly step up?
Yeah, look, Andile is one of a couple of guys that have played, that have been part of a broader squad, albeit some played in the T20s that's still playing competitive cricket. So I think today Andile showed us a little bit, especially with the bat, he showed us a little bit with what we've seen a couple of years back in terms of his capability. And I mean, that knock to finish off the innings, really, you can look at that and say that was match influencing, high influenced in the game. Because a total of 270 looks very different to a total of 315. So he was a massive role player in that, and obviously took an important wicket as well, bowling. So for me, it's great that guys can come in and contribute. I mean, that's all we're after, is that there's a broader squad, as I've said right from the start, both T20 and 50 over cricket. There's a broader squad of players that are confident, that are comfortable in their roles in the team, that can come in under pressure, let's call it, and able to deliver performance that gives the team a chance of winning. So yeah, fortunately that was recorded, but yeah, it's So I'm very happy that Andile was able to deliver that performance with the bat. That makes a big difference.
So Fidos has sent a question through just due to the technical difficulties. Just adding on to that, who are the other replacements being considered in addition to Andile?
I suppose if you're looking at fast bowling, Lazard Williams was part of the T20 group that was from a fast bowling point of view. And that's really it. We've carried Bjorn throughout, who's been our sort of spin backup where required, and that's sort of the breadth of the squad that we've had involved throughout.
And then one from Telford. How does the fact that both teams were missing key players affect how you analyse your team's performance in the series?
Well, every performance in context, good or bad. As I said earlier, I'm under no illusions as to Australia will look different when we do turn out against them in Game 2 of the World Cup. And from our point of view, from our team point of view, we also, I wouldn't say necessarily could look stronger, but we have other experienced players that haven't been playing that could well be available. So both teams could look a little bit different than they've looked in this series. But I sort of won't downplay the enjoyment that I've got out of watching different people contribute throughout the series for us to win it.
Great. That concludes this evening's press conference. Thank you very much, everyone.